Okay, the recording has started.
I'd like to call order the Housing Commission meeting for Thursday, May 16th. Roll call.
Commissioner Taylor,
Here.
Commissioner Pelton, absent, Commissioner Goodman,
Here.
Commissioner Samansky,
Here.
President Fosdick.
Here. Are there any amendments to the agenda?
We'd like to add one thing under new business, and that's discussion of a landscaping proposal for Century Terrace and Harborview.
To be under new business?
Yep, on new business B.
Anything more?
There's Jenny. Hi, Jenny. Okay, we'll see you in a minute.
Public comment on
Okay.
agenda related items. Any public comment? Okay. Consent agenda, approval of minutes, regular meeting minutes of April 11, and bills and disbursement for April 24.
Motion to accept the minutes of April 11th, and bills and distribution of April 2020.
I second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Old business, update on website.
So we are moving along. We approved the initial design. So now they're on to phase 2. We are still on target to launch it July 1st.
Okay. While I'm at it, are we going to get rid of the one that's on the city, in the city government?
I don't think so. Do we?
No, I think that's just there for information. I think hopefully they could link on that. We would be able to link our site. So if somebody went to their housing commission, I think there's just a page, Steve, right? With the city.
Well, yeah, and all the minutes and stuff are kept in,
Yeah.
but it also says that our meetings are at the city hall still, so we need to fix that.
Yeah. Okay.
As
And I
long as
don't,
we have a link to our.
yeah, and I don't know if, like the other agencies they list on there, do they allow links? I would
Yeah,
think
they
they
do.
would. Okay, so that would be I think we definitely want to keep. If there's no reason not to be on the city's website, I think that's a good idea.
Same with the county.
I don't think we're on the county website.
I wouldn't hurt.
Reach out to the county.
Yeah, that's a good.
Discuss the county.
Sure.
We do the same thing, just
a link.
basically housing commission with a link.
Yeah,
Are we done finally with the wash contract?
Yes.
Have they installed any new machines yet?
No, we just ordered them. So we ended up with a large washer and a large dryer at Harborview and at Century Terrace, and then all brand new machines. So $2 to wash, $1 to dry for half an hour.
So is there gonna be the whole, that has that app feature and everything, that can be available?
So yes, so you can use, so there'll be 2 options. So they wanted me to eliminate the cash option where everyone would have to have debit or credit card in order to do the laundry, but I told them we could not do that. So when I was negotiating, they couldn't lower the price as well because they have to have someone come out now and collect cash. So, they are going to have a machine that will transfer everyone's current cards, any money you have in your current card. So everyone will get a new card. And there'll be a machine. We're only going to have the machine for like 30 to 60 days. And you can transfer any funds you currently have on your wash card now to the new card. And then the large machines are more. They do cost more, but they're like double the size. And you can put a queen size comforter in them. And let's see, Jenny entered at 9:05.
Yes.
Welcome.
Isn't there, why can't we just collect the money and send it to them? Instead of having them send someone out just to collect money.
Their property. I
Yeah,
can see what
it's,
they would- yeah.
we're leasing the equipment. We don't own the equipment. That's part of the whole process.
You can have that,
Yes.
you know, a discrepancy happen there.
Yeah.
Well,
Will there be a process in case somebody, for whatever reason, didn't get the money off of their old card after 30 days for them to get reimbursed if they send in their card to the company or something?
I'll check into that, Mick. That's a good question.
Because somebody may be gone for
Yeah.
that month and.
Yeah. We would definitely make it right if,
Yeah.
even if they didn't, for sure. And this is a good company that they're used all over the place.
New business, 1715 Vine Street flooring proposal.
I could not get anyone to bid on that. Everyone's so busy.
Welcome to Manistee. When
Yeah.
it becomes May, you don't see anyone. You'll get home.
Out to Ludington area.
It doesn't really matter. I have so many clients trying to find any, I mean, it's just,
It'll slow back down in October and then you can find somebody again.
it's, well, what's wrong with the proposal we got? You don't like that one?
No, I have it, but I'm just saying, I always like to get at least 3.
I know, but if it's not possible, I'd say just get it done.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
honestly, I've got so many deals held up by trying to get proposals and they're not there. Especially since the damage in Onekama. So many contractors, are loyal to their clients who got damage and so it's very difficult right now, especially.
There's 60. That come up. That's what they said. There'd be 60.
So you
Wow.
just go, you just,
Damaged, house
Yeah.
damage.
yeah, you just kind of go with the one bid and just note that due to circumstances, you're able to get the other 2 bids. That's fine.
Now, had we already approved doing 1715 Vine,
So are you thinking of 717 Vine, Steve?
the 4-bedroom?
So that one we tabled to this, we tabled it from last month, but we are still waiting on the recommendation from the RAD consultant. So I did not put it back on the, I'll get to that.
Well, refresh my memory. So,
Okay, so 1715 became vacant about 2 months ago. There was a leak that had been unidentified. So after the resident moved out, it was found that the floor has to be replaced. And it has to be done by a
The flooring.
contractor, yeah, not just a flooring person. We actually have to have a contractor come in and do a bathroom and laundry room.
so we have like a $12,000 bid from Lakeshore.
Yeah,
Yes,
And then what else has to be done to 1715?
flooring, right?
yeah, and then painting.
So just,
This is a double wide that was placed there. My understanding is the previous residence, there was a gas leak and it blew up. I don't know if anybody remembers that. The house caught on fire. So we put a double wide there. So this is actually different than most of the units. It's a double wide.
It's
placed-
newer and, yeah, right. It's in
Yeah.
Much better condition than some of the other ones.
By double wide, we're talking about a
Modular.
pre-constructed modular
Yeah.
home.
Yeah, and I believe
no,
25,
it's not modular.
25 years
Yeah.
ago. So this actually was placed there probably 25 years ago, which is that, it's
Well,
the
actually, 25
OSB.
years on a double wide, that's about the life of them.
So I think going ahead and using this bid is gonna be important. We have to get it done. It must get done. We have insurance coverage
It's worth, no, it wouldn't, the deductible, I think, is this.
too high.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So we've got 12,000 for probably another 10,000 in
Yeah,
flooring
yeah.
and painting and stuff.
Yeah, and we have the funds to do it.
Let's get it done.
And so if you will make a motion to do it, and then just make sure you waive we waive the 3 bid
Yes.
requirement because of lack of response.
But the bid in front of us is for 11,984. So I will make the motion that we accept the bid, Lakeshore Construction, for $11,984. noting there, the only bidder due to circumstances, we cannot get 3 bids.
And if you would list the other, where were the solicitations were
Yeah.
made.
Did you make a motion, Sharon?
Yes, that would.
I second it.
All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Motion carried. Now, did you want to talk about the 4-bedroom or not?
Sure, so Lakeshore Construction did provide a bid on that, so I do have 3 bids now on the 717. So all that we are missing is the recommendation from the RAD consultant. But the Lakeshore bid is almost 3 times as much as the other 2. So the other 2 were even, they were right around 50,000. Within $500 of each other. But Lakeshore is more than double that.
I personally have a problem putting $50,000 into a house that we're gonna tear down possibly in 3 or 4 years.
But we don't know if we're gonna tear it down.
Yeah.
One,
Yeah,
and
well,
number 2, we need housing.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yep.
before we
Thank
begin
you.
financing, I think
Got
the RAD consultant estimated the fourth
I'm
quarter.
sorry,
So the fourth quarter of 2025, I believe, is when they're estimating we can begin to apply for financing.
4th quarter, you said?
well, it'll depend on where we land, what direction. So I think we're paying them for the analysis. You know, are you gonna do a demolition disposition? Are you gonna do a rehab project? So until we make those decisions and have those discussions, but we're a ways out from, I think what Lori's saying, we're a ways out from once we make that determination to applying, if we're gonna go the tax credit route or. So, yeah, probably in 25.
Well, let's wait for their recommendation or their input, and make a decision.
Yeah, and that could be in 6 months, 3 to 6 months, I think.
For them to come up with a decision.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have lots of discussions because they're gonna have a whole bunch of options. And then we need to figure out based on the financial analysis, the timeframes, which direction we want to go. And then we start looking for a developer partner potentially and some other things. So it needs to be a good, thoughtful process.
So
So,
we're 2027 at least before we do anything.
I don't know that that's true, Steve. I don't know that it's that far.
Uh,
But I think 25 would be when we might apply for tax credits and have this figured out. So probably either in April of 25 or October of 25.
But I did request a recommendation on this particular unit. So I should have that at the next meeting.
after Lori and I went to that conference, I was shocked at how small we are. I was really surprised.
Okay, discussion on landscaping.
So we asked Jason Thompson to give us a proposal, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, and he hasn't formalized it yet, but Kevin bugged him in the last little bit to, we walked the property. So we talked about landscaping the flower beds, lighting the flower beds, maybe with some solar lights, and finish cleaning up the shoreline and getting rid of the brush and clutter. So,
And poison ivy.
and boy, yeah. So, so I think our agreement was anything over 10,000 needs Commonwealth's approval. And what we're requesting is for you to allow us to negotiate up to 10,000 with Jason Thompson to do the landscaping, because we can't get any other proposals either.
No, we can't. Everyone's busy.
And he's done a lot of work here, familiar with the property, so
So it'd be lighted.
solar lighting, the backside, and fixing up any snow damage and everything else on the land, reseeding.
In the front
Yeah.
here, all we're doing is growing weeds.
Yep.
You know, so would they fix or reseed any of that?
I don't
Maybe
know
it
if-
just looks off.
I don't know if we included that. He did not do that. That was,
With new landscaping, if we have maintenance due because of winter kill and stuff like that, that's different than new landscaping.
yeah, this is new landscaping plus repairing plow damage and other things too.
Well, we,
No, I
and we
think
have
plow damage
contracted.
is normal maintenance.
Yes, right, right.
So that's not part of the 10,000.
No, but we're asking him to price it as one proposal though. But you're
I
right.
would say two, so that, because 10,000 is not a lot of money for landscape.
Yeah, when we could have them break it out, like, we could break it out into two.
Right.
We did just award a contract to Partial. So they are the company that's doing our pest control now. They also have a tree and landscape division. So they actually went through and worked on all the weeds and the rocks. And they are going to fertilize.
Yeah.
They're gonna do like a new grass fertilizing system 2 times and then 3 more. So I think it was right around $1,200 to do that.
I like that. I think the appearance on the buildings. Terrible. We put money into it. I expect that our maintenance will manage it. I expect we will not have a year's worth of leaves, on grass.
Which,
It'll be cut. We won't see dandelions. I mean, I expect it to change. It's at every single place we own that it looks atrocious.
Yep.
And I just I'm done with it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I see we just bought a new lawnmower.
Push more.
Do we have somebody to run it?
We do. But getting back to this proposal, so it pretty much with Thompson, it's from the back of the buildings down. So I think we could talk to Partial about fertilizing and overseeding the area, the weeding, because they're gonna do the weed and feed for the whole property.
Now, are they gonna actually come up and pull weeds or just chemical?
Fertilizer application, Steve, the weed and feed, yeah.
Now, do we have someone hired to do like lawn mowing during the summer, or do we do that ourselves?
We do it ourselves here, but we do hire Thompson to weed whip the bank because you can't mow it. There's no machinery you can get up and down. So they bring their crew in with their string trimmers, and that's 3 times a year. I think Memorial Day, July 4th and Labor Day. We try to schedule it 3 times.
But scattered sites, are you referring to here or scattered sites?
Here.
Okay.
We don't do the scatter sites. We have somebody else doing it.
Yeah, we have somebody else.
I'm thinking if Partial does like lawn maintenance too, like fixing plow marks and stuff like that, give that contract to Partial and keep Jason Thompson just new landscape.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
That way, we don't have to get approval.
Yep.
We don't want to overinflate the bid and say, well, no, only 10,000 is new and this is maintenance.
Well, I think that's an important topic because I kind of came down on this in other agencies that we have skilled mechanics mowing lawns. We can find landscaping companies to mow lawns. And I'd rather have them in units, getting units ready than,
Even temporary summer
Yeah.
contract with some
Yeah.
young person
Yeah.
who's interested in, I know there's an older guy.
The problem is we. need
Goes
workman's
around
comp
and-
Stuff like that.
As a business, if it's a single person as a business doing that.
Yeah.
As long as they have general liability, they could still be a sole proprietor without workers'
Yeah,
comp.
yeah.
But I did hire the same company we used last year. Green Lawns Matter, $370 a mow for the area, the 25 apartments up at Rees Park.
yeah.
300
And
and what?
can we get the rest of them included then too?
So
That's awesome.
we are relying on the residents in the other units to take care of their own.
I think we should take care of all of them. And maybe even ask them to do this.
We definitely can.
At least find out.
Yeah.
What the cost is. Is there a sprinkler system here?
There used to
Not
be.
anymore. Not anymore.
They
And it
did-
used to pump right out of the river, which is
They
a
did.
grand
blow it
idea
out
to
in
do
the
that.
They didn't blow it out in the fall, so it broke.
Yeah.
Is it completely gone or
Yeah.
is it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so.
And the
no.
construction finished it off.
Yeah, that makes, again, that's where it becomes a challenge for when you're reseeding and replanting. Now you gotta make sure that somebody's watering that twice a day for the
Yeah.
next 25 days, otherwise you're just throwing money away, literally.
So Nick, this was all last year. Thompson came in and it actually started growing. They
Yeah,
they
it's very
seeded
quick.
it in November and
Yeah,
it
you
started
can
growing
look
in
rough.
December.
Yeah.
Annual rough.
Yeah, so, and it,
Um,
they recommend fertilizing it to green it up or thicken it up. Yeah. But I like to, I would rather land on, relying on the professionals to do it than us.
Yeah, they can do it so much more efficiently and it looks so much better.
Well, and you think about the cost of us hiring another maintenance mechanic versus contracting out, and I think the contracting out sometimes is a better,
They have all the equipment.
yeah, exactly.
But the watering piece will still fall on us.
Yeah.
Because none of your contracts, all of them say that's your requirement.
Right, yeah.
Because they're not gonna come out here every day for 21 days.
Nope.
And a good example is look what they did for the Gateway project. They spent all that money hydro seeding. And yet they didn't put any water on after they hydro seeded, so the only thing that grew was the
The
dandelion.
weeds, that's exactly what happened out here.
So
Yep.
do we have the spigots and stuff for external watering?
yes, we do.
They're out there? Okay.
Yep. I use them.
Right, we bought you a new hose last year, didn't we?
Where
Still
is
the
it right
difference.
now?
It's probably in, as soon as you walk out the
Yeah,
door in
yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
We
Like
did buy a
that's what's-
long, because we needed it, because, James was watering the plants, like in the center area of the driveway there. So I think we ended up getting, was it like
Wait until you see what I
100
put in.
foot hose or something? It was a
Wait
lot.
until you see what I put in the yard.
There's not a marijuana plant in there. is there?
No.
So,
Um,
so if you would authorize us to, contract with Jason Thompson up to not to exceed a $10,000 amount for the landscaping here. And he's putting together a plan. We want to put some shrubbery, some flowers. I want this to look really nice.
You want people to notice it.
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna get much for that,
No,
I make a
but we could
motion
do
we
it
support it.
multi-year things.
yeah. We have to start somewhere. Then we need to maintain what we do.
Hey, Jimmy motion.
No, yeah, Ginny.
I make a motion to support your work with Jason Thompson up to $10,000.
I second it.
All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Motion carried.
Tammy and I, for the last 5 years, we take care of all the plants and do everything, and we have that herb garden anybody could use. We do tomatoes and stuff. We need something for tenants. You took away our herb, or Commonwealth demolished our herb garden.
And that was behind Century Terrace.
Yeah. We need. I just planted our tomato plants. People came down and were able to pick tomatoes and peppers and stuff off of my plant.
Is there a location? Where would that even go?
Say any place in the back.
Yeah.
I actually have 2 portable garden things and I haven't even put them out yet. 'Cause I haven't
I
soil.
planted my.
Over at Century Terrace?
Yeah, I planted mine over there. I just put peppers and tomatoes in.
Now, are there
I asked
agencies
about
in
the-
Manistee that offer the garden? Like, we worked with some
The
different.
garden club,
Yeah,
community garden.
yeah, and they helped
At
us
one time,
with
this
boxes.
facility had
Raised gardens.
beautiful raised gardens.
Yep.
With water to every one of them, with pavement and pea gravel between them,
Where at, Steve?
behind Century Terrace.
I remember that.
And Feeding America put that all in, that had to cost them $50,000-$60,000 to do that, from what I understand, and they went to hell. And so instead of, I guess the first year or two, they were fine, and then people started to abuse them, or they were allowed just to grow up in the weeds. And I, apparently, according to Kevin, Clinton just had them demolish them and get them out of here. So I would love you guys to have raised beds, but
we had the same thing in Big Rapids and the same exact thing happened. They were gangbusters the first 2 years and then they just got ignored and it didn't work. But we certainly could get some containers from long and put a few back there. I don't think that's a
You
problem.
can, I think in Myers, they sell it, and it's like under $50 for the whole, that wooden unit.
Yeah.
That's a raised garden. I'm master horticulturist from Michigan.
Why don't we
State,
throw
and
that back
Tammy and I have always, the last 5 years, taken care of everything out there. And we
on
do a good
resident
job.
council to come to us with recommendations.
And just a suggestion, we could ask for some of the, like the garden clubs. We've got 3 garden clubs that are active in Manistee County. Perhaps one of those garden clubs with maybe some financial support from Myers or another company might be able to adopt the community gardens for.
Yeah, the mentoring would be
Community
great.
Gardens, are over on the east side of
Like
the,
Guardian Angels Church.
Right.
Garden Angels, yep.
Yeah, street gardens.
and I think those are all spoken for,
I
Yep,
believe so.
and they rent them out every year.
yep. Myers will help out. Dairy Do will help out with the dirt. I do know that as a fact.
And we have, like I said, we also, there's a number of, I think if we send out, perhaps if we send out a letter saying this is something that the residents are interested in, would we be able to provide, would anyone be willing to provide either financial or, again, what would be nice if somebody would come out once every week or two. We have companies that maintain all the gardens down the Riverwalk. The Lions Club has a garden on there, the American Legion, the VFW. I think we'd probably be able to find somebody that would adopt that. And not that they would be doing so much the planting, but helping with maintaining it and keeping
Yep.
it aesthetically appropriate.
I think some mentoring for the residents would be good.
And a woman in the back who has a question.
We got enough new residents coming in, and there's quite a few of us older ones that will do that raised garden and put flowers and whatever. And we don't have to pay nobody. We'll just do it because these are our buildings and we want them to look good. Just, maybe just have a couple more hoses, because I know there's a spigot out on the backside and then a spigot out the back door. So if we get it, we're for it. We're all for it. So,
The next question, I know there's spigots around, but I don't think they're all turned on.
well, I know
Yeah.
the one behind the back door is.
Yeah, they are turned on and using them.
Not the other end, yeah, because Jimmy's watering plants over there. So we
Yeah.
do have 2 spigots that are running. And we do have, people have been coming to me, the new people will. What about gardens and coming, so the tenants association will have to come together and we'll figure it out and then maybe come back to you guys with a plan. Or we just we just need permission. Permission to get the raised boxes and maybe the dirt. And, whoever wants to plant whatever,
Well, if we're gonna do this,
I can
I'm
work
gonna
on
do it
that.
right, I don't wanna have
can-
these 2x4 foot
No,
things that are raised up this far out of the ground.
they got big ones out in front of the jail where the VA.
Well,
was
you can't
doing their
get-
garden, they've got nice ones out there.
But we can't get back there right now. They're doing construction.
Eric built those.
Do we want to take this to the resident council for recommendations, or do we want to look into the garden clubs in the area? Or
Well,
how do we wanna?
I think we would probably buy the beds and dirt, at least have it ready. And then
I think if we look to Feeding America, that's who financed the whole thing back 15 years ago. Maybe they still.
We have a
that
new
program.
person on our staff, and I think this would be a great project for her. Does she agree?
I do have some good contacts.
Okay,
I thought you would.
I mean,
But
we might
even
be.
some of
we
the
might be able to get
Manistee
out of
and
this
Myers,
problem.
yeah.
you never
Yeah.
know. I mean, this is good advertisement for them.
Yeah, it
and it's
sounds
good-
like
good
everyone's,
Community
You
support.
know,
Do you want,
on this,
Do you want to introduce her?
We're gonna, yeah,
Before you get off that.
Yeah. Okay.
Another nice, little expensive, but very durable is if you go to the Tractor Supply or one of those places and get the large troughs. The metal
Mhm.
troughs.
Yeah.
And get 2 or 3 of those.
I see now they're selling horse troughs with no bottom in it and call them raised beds and charging twice as much.
family farming home too.
Yep.
No,
Okay,
we
so yeah,
want something
we
to
will-
look good.
We will work with
Yeah.
the residents on this.
That's a good point.
All the same.
So we'll update you at the next meeting on the progress.
Okay. Do we have any presentation or discussion? Okay, reports and communications. Mark, you're up.
All right, I'll go
You're
first.
up.
Lori and I were invited to the Council on Aging meeting last month, 3 weeks ago, I think. And so you all know that they've been trying to do some housing there. So Tracy invited us just to get some perspective or give them some thoughts. And they're pretty focused on senior housing. They've had some different proposals by different folks with some different promises, which may be realistic. Yeah. So, and they wondered what our thoughts were. Could we help? Could we be part of the process? And I think there is some potential room for us to be involved. Now, they specifically want senior housing. They one of the things I brought up, as I said, we're going to be doing this redevelopment process with RAD and hopefully building new units. And, are you open to something other than senior? And I think the answer is no. So
So
I,
55 and over.
55.
Yes.
So I had to ask the question. So,
That like, right when you said 55.
Yeah, I was on that board
Yeah.
for a short time,
Yeah.
and they're only looking for senior.
So-
housing.
and I think that's still something we could do. We can do senior housing. You can do senior housing tax credits. But the other thing is then if it's a tax credit project, then it's income restricted. And I'm not sure that that's where they want to go
And that's the
either.
other thing, they want the 80 to 120%.
Yeah. So,
Or even higher.
Yeah.
They want a mixed community.
Yeah.
They want our seniors to be
Yeah.
just like our community.
yeah,
They want it, they want to be able to support people that are in the lower income
Yeah.
bracket, but they also want to give the opportunity for seniors who have literally grown out of their homes.
Yeah.
They can't, they got a 3-story house, they can't make the stairs, they can't, they need ramps.
Yeah.
We've built 20 ramps in the last 2 years trying to keep people in their homes with Habitat.
Yeah.
And that's only just a smattering of the necessity out there. So that's part of why they don't want to have large restrictions, because they want to keep.
yeah,
community.
no, and I totally understand it. I just, from our perspective, if if we could come in with the tax credit project, but then it's income restricted. Now, I've done tax credit projects where we've had market rate units too, and Karen saw some of those too. So that's doable, but there's still gonna be a percentage. So like in Big Rapids, when we did that project, we had historic tax credits, which didn't have to go for affordable housing. It just went to the buildings. But we did an 80-20 mix, 80% that were income restricted and 20% that were not. And that matched the demographics of the community. So that's how we landed on that number. So, but it got me thinking too, and I think this is something we should look at. So this, I might have talked about it, this My Neighborhood grant stuff is out there. It was undersubscribed in this last round. So that is, and I'm looking at some duplex designs right now. So there's $100,000 subsidy for each rental unit development. So, and 25 is restricted to 60% or below. The other 75% can go up to 120%.
Wow.
So I think, in fact, I was at the Building Michigan Communities Conference
100,000 per duplex,
per unit.
Per unit.
per unit.
Per unit. So I just got a price from a builder that we could build we could build duplexes with garages, about 1,100 square feet for about 400,000, 420,000 with garages.
That's good.
So when you take 200,000 off of that, then we finance 200,000, and I think we make a cash flow then. And then that's the whole point of the project, by the way.
Could you do that cheaper using, modulars? I know you hate me for saying that all the time.
I have not seen, Steve, I will say that, I've not seen,
Lights, but mods.
I've not seen a modular that's even competitive right now with stick-built construction.
I can't get a price. I've
No.
talked to a half dozen different modular firms. And well,
They won't
we'll
even,
send a salesman out. No, I don't want to talk to a salesman. I want a ballpark figure of what it's gonna cost.
because of the cost, it's variations, they won't even give you a price. At least the last year when we tried to get our modular companies to give us a price, they'd lock it in for like 30 days.
Now, Lori, you said something about the one down there in Big Rapids was like $100,000 for,
Was it 130,000?
right,
For what?
for 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom,
Yeah,
5.
So,
To build?
well, that did not include, that just included bringing the structure and setting it on. So the site would already have to,
Yeah, that's not water and that's not utilities, that's not foundations. And once you start adding all that stuff on, we found out modular pricing isn't the best. And you don't get the product that you get from a stick-built house, but
You may wanna, kind of look at what, Habitat for Humanity is looking at doing out on Murphy Road. Because we're very close to having that, contract completed.
is that with modulars?
no, that
That's,
was Vanessa.
Yeah,
brought
but- yeah.
those housing
Yeah.
designs to our meeting.
Yeah.
That's what,
Okay, so
And-
they're building, you guys are building.
yes.
but it's all pre-done.
Yeah.
It's, you're buying a
A
rector's
Pretty
spec.
bad.
Yeah.
Everything-
Together on
Yeah.
Everything from the drywall to all the
Yeah.
wiring to the
Yeah.
plumbing, everything is preset, pre-designed. They come out and literally within 30 days, they have.
It's like panelized construction,
And
yeah.
same thing with the foundations, modern technology for foundations, takes a week to get your
Yeah.
foundation built.
Are you putting basements under those? Yeah.
It's the same cost.
Yep,
So why would you deprive your homeowner of having another 1,200 square foot of usable space when you're talking about exactly the same cost is to put it on a foundation,
Yeah.
on a slab foundation?
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
yeah, we always landed on
It's a
basements.
soil up there, so
Yeah.
that would be easy. The thing with that project, I've talked with them about, it's like, there's enough property there to do like sections, like, you know, they have enough to, like, if you were to start with the section, you know, by the fields there, there's enough to do duplexes in that. That's the first wave of construction. We could be involved in that. Maybe by the next wave, which is back by, the cottages there, that might be their second, and they can just go with straight, you know, income. I don't have to be income, you know, level. They can just
Market
be,
rate.
yeah. I mean, again, they have a lot of property. They have some of the infrastructure there. Behind them, there's fire.
Is that Habitat that has the property?
No, that's the senior center.
Oh, the senior
Senior
center.
center, that's
They own it
14
all.
acres.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
And
exactly.
imagine when the one bid that failed was because they were looking at building housing where the oil fields are. But if you move the parking lot over to where the oil fields are, now you've now created enough for another 6 homes close to the senior center.
Oh,
Yeah, I tried to get them to put a dog park.
Well, parking lot in it, but again, to me, it makes more sense because people, you'll have plenty of parking for the residents and people don't mind a small walk and you're literally just across the street.
But I appreciate that you met with them, but I think
Yeah.
that we could really help them. I mean, I think if we can get this project agreed upon and moving, we would have motion throughout the whole community with people moving into these locations and housing coming available. I mean, it's just, we all know this is what has to happen.
You have to
We've
start,
talked
yeah.
about it a long
Yeah.
time, but I think this could be the catalyst to getting that action.
Well, my neighborhood, $200,000 for duplex. if you're gonna put market rate rents up, that's what you use. Because you're half your costs covered.
Yeah, well, so I think we ought to think about it. Ed.
Mhm.
So I talked, in fact, I ran into Tracy leaving the conference on Tuesday and we were talking about it. This is a conference that it's the developers, Baker Tilly, which we'll talk about, was there. And they came to Manistee on Monday.
Yes.
So the financing folks in there was there. We had some discussions. The one nice thing about the Housing Commission and RAD and tax credit stuff is Tony Lintek, who is the director at the Traverse City Housing Commission, is now the chief development officer for Mishta. So we had a conversation about housing commissions and tax credits and they understand. So there's more points in a tax credit application now. And if you know, Mishta divides these, they call it a qualified allocation plan and how they score competitive applications. So now RAD transaction, you get more points. Housing commissions get a few more points. So they recognize that we need to do something. So I think that
I don't think we let this my neighborhood thing go by.
No,
And as far as the COA, I don't know if we just tell them about it, let them go with it, or if, I'd love to help, but I want to help ourselves.
yeah, I think they'll want some experience. So we have the experience. So whether we could do it on their site, we have some property right there too, behind the corner of,
Grove, but right, it's on the corner of
we
Ford.
have that corner lot that we could,
We might
I
do
keep trying
that.
to figure out what lot that is. Is it behind the new builds?
yes,
Yeah.
or kind of, yeah,
All right.
towards the lake, Karen, where it
Yeah.
kind of comes down to a
I
point.
kept
right
looking for a field. It's not a field.
It's just a little lot. Yeah. We need to get
Survey.
well, at least from the tax cards to see exactly how it's laid out and what the dimensions are. Did you? I don't remember
You
that.
did.
You did?
The aerials on the property.
Okay. I know we talked to the city manager and I think he gave
It's
us,
not a very big parcel.
no, but I think it would handle a
And there's
duplex.
another parcel right over here. That's just. It's landlocked.
So I think the next, they're talking about, so Mishta, they, it was like 17 million for our region and 15 million, a bunch. Undersubscribed the first round. Of course, Mishta doesn't have all the rules written either, so that's the other challenge. Because the last time we did a project with them, the house building project, and bid it out and awarded the contract, they said, oh, by the way, you have to pay prevailing wages too. Which added like $10,000 per house to the project. So we didn't realize that. But I think there's there's a lot of money. Michigan has a lot of money. There's still a lot of federal money that's being funneled down. So my point is, let's take advantage of it. I mean, if we could build a couple duplexes, I'm working on some designs already. So, I mean,
We're one of the few cities that does not have senior housing. I was surprised.
yeah.
You're saying that we don't have senior housing?
Next door.
Designated, right.
Right. 55. Right.
No, it's multifamily.
That's the only one.
Yeah, they changed.
And this used to be senior
Yeah.
housing. Like,
So,
until they
I
couldn't
agree that we should move forward if we can collaborate or work. with
And there's a
them.
need.
I think it's important to
There's
move
definitely a
forward,
need.
even if we do a duplex on our own property. I think no matter what, that's a start, and that would be, I think, the catalyst to getting everything rolling.
you'll hear me talk some more about that. So, because I'm working on an application, so I think I'll have the foundation pretty well.
Have you heard anything, Karen, about the 150 units that are going in the old Kennedy School?
I thought it was two.
When is that gonna break ground?
It did.
It did.
It did.
No, they've demoed it.
Well, but they had the groundbreaking and everything. It's in motion.
I thought it was 200.
It's a, like.
Phase.
It's a phase, yeah, so there'll be a lot.
Started.
What is it? Is it just market rate?
Market rate.
Houses,
No.
Apartments.
apartments?
Complex.
Oh, and by the way, I had a conversation with a developer who has projects in Manistee and it was asking about the hospital, you know, that would be,
The old hospital.
that would be a great project, I heard.
Sitting up there, that's
So-
just a little tarnished.
Just so you know, that could be part of the discussion in our transaction too, if
I thought
everybody
that
wants.
was gone. It's not gone.
No, it is
No.
not.
That fell
So-
apart.
Okay, good.
So just there, I think,
That'd make a great
Yeah,
senior.
so-
housing.
It's
Yeah.
been abated for asbestos
yeah,
too.
so anyway, I don't want to keep talking
Okay.
about that. We have a few more things.
I'll proceed with that stuff.
The auditors were here last week. Clean audit. The only thing that he suggested is a better tracking of our expenses from the housing commission to the tax credit property. So, you know, we built a budget and we showed the allocation side going to, but it's not coming back into the financial statements that way. He wants to see it as a other income and record the full expenses. Right now, we've been offsetting line items. He said he'd rather see, it's not an audit finding, but he said he would rather see it. Yeah, it's better. I think it's better for you too, and for all
Instead
of
of
us.
offsetting the expenses.
Yeah.
Yeah, so offsetting maintenance or administrative,
Well, CTHB is its own company, its own LLC,
that's right.
and it should operate as its own LLC. It should pay us management fees, and the only thing we should see from CTHB is the fees we collect.
Well, that's what we do. That's what we do. But to track it back into public housing, that's what we're talking. This was only,
Income source.
yes, it's only,
Like wages,
yeah.
benefits.
Okay.
So, Nick, we have this agreement. It's a little convoluted. Riverside is the management company using housing commission staff. So we do this billing for our time and we broke it down in our budget this year and we'll get you a copy of the budget. But the accountants are only using the net amount on their financial statements. He wants the gross amount and then the revenue coming back in that we bill as a miscellaneous expense. So that's how he wants to see it, or he recommends.
Is there any way down the road, you know, of cleaning this mess up? Getting out of it, switching around, and maybe after we do all this rad conversion stuff, we have to take another look. I mean, this is so messy.
Well, we take over the guarantee after year 5 from Commonwealth, so it may
Just
wait till
go
then,
away.
Yeah,
or year 15. So it's the other.
Well,
you're
okay,
15. is-
for those of you who are left here,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
be doing something.
So anyway, I thought
15 years.
he did a good job, so no issues. And then Lori can talk about this too, but if you've been on some of the Baker Tilly calls, the gentleman from Baltimore he worked for the Baltimore Housing Authority and did lots of red transactions, came to the conference Tuesday to Lansing but drove up here from Detroit.
Kind of surprised. He's like, I'm just gonna drive. Yeah, it's like, does he realize? I'm
He does now.
I'm not sure, but it was good for somebody to have eyes on, you know, the situation, so it makes it more real.
I'm glad somebody finally showed up
Yeah.
there instead of just a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
If that's the way they're gonna handle it, I'm gonna be a little bit disappointed.
It was nice to see him. He
Yeah.
waited 2.5 hours in line to get his rental car, but he did make it.
That's the next effort,
So
and I'm sure he'd love to play.
He's very impressed with the properties that we remodeled on 10th and 12th. I took him in the 2 1-bedrooms that we are just renovating on 12th, and he's like, wow.
Oh, good.
What else would you expect him to say? He wants to stay hired.
No, he was very impressed. He couldn't believe the condition that they had been in and what we brought him to.
So he comes from a housing authority, so he's actually seen the business side, our side of it. So the other folks are the accounting side of it, you know, the number cruncher side of it. They haven't ran a housing commission or authority before, so. But I really like these guys, these consultants, so. And I think that's it.
Yes, so I would like to introduce Lisa Spencer to the board. Lisa's first day of actually, even though she's been going through some training with us, her official first day will be Monday. So welcome, Lisa. We're very excited to have you on our team.
She came back
I
for
have
day
big
2 and
ones.
day 3, so that's good.
As of yesterday, we finally transferred the last phone line from AT&T to Spectrum. So the bills should reflect, I estimate, about a third of the cost of what we were paying for internet and phones. It's been a long process. I did not realize how hard it was going to be to actually get everything converted over, but as of yesterday,
So I won't see those copper lines anymore.
or office at hand, like,
It's just
yeah,
fiber.
all
I
that.
don't know.
Is it all fiber coming into the building
I
now?
know, I didn't think it was all. everything
No.
was fiber.
So, yeah, we have
Yeah.
some mixed things because of the fire alarm, the elevators. We still have some old pot lines that we had to keep, the old phone lines.
Well, I think, eventually where I wanna see it is we have a fiber line here. And then we spread it out through and we pay one set fee and it'd be done, because I think Charter is making a lot of money off us right now. And I think we can do it ourselves.
Not as much as AT&T was making off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AT&T taught Charter how to do it,
Yeah.
but we have other fish to fry first,
Yeah. But I mean, the bills are down from 2,500 a month to less than 1,000.
Yeah, yeah, that was a big difference right away.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes. So on 10th Street, the first project that we renovated, we did fill the other side of that duplex. And when I showed it to the young lady, she had tears in her eyes. She just said, "This is so much beyond my expectations."
Oh, yeah,
So-
just like to see grass. And just, I am a outdoors kind of person and just drive around and I see all these weeds everywhere that we're cutting. I just,
Rose and I had that discussion. We spend more money and more time on 3 months of the year. Because takes us a month to get it back all out of the garage and the basement and up onto the deck and everything else. And then the month of October, we're pulling it all back down into the garage and.
Or both sides run to them now.
On 10th Street, on 12th Street, both sides will be rented as of 5 o'clock today.
Great.
And they're spreading topsoil today there. So
I'm
just so you know.
I will be
I'm gonna go buy
going by
it.
there.
Yep.
I appreciate that, Aaron, that you like that.
Turn the water on.
Yeah, well, are there spigots on them?
Yeah,
Oh, no, we overlooked them.
so Mark touched on the audit already. The one thing that I'm going to bring back a recommendation next month, but trampolines that are scattered sites. We have a lot of residents putting up trampolines.
Yeah.
So I either need to allow that or take a stance and tell them they're not allowed due to liability, and then it's a mowing issue too. So I'm not sure what direction to go with that.
In my vision of utopia, we could build these places around a green space.
Yeah.
And we have a park
Yeah.
that we could fence in, and have things to play on. That's my utopia.
Maybe where the old maintenance shed up there is.
Well, I think that's part of this redevelopment process, absolutely. I mean, if we're gonna rebuild there, I mean, we would put a community center in for sure.
I'd like to see.
Yeah,
Well, I have a tough time. We've got 3 maintenance sheds in this property. And we've got the one in Century Terrace, we got the one across the street, and we got one down at scattered sites.
well, we don't have a shed at Century Terrace. We just have a maintenance shop, right?
Well, yeah, it's down in.
A room.
Yeah, a room
Yeah,
for
there's
maintenance
no
supplies.
exterior.
Yes.
Which appears to be where they do a lot of their work. If not the most, the majority.
But the one, if I'm remembering correctly, the one up at the scattered sites is in fairly good shape, isn't it? Is that the white one? Big old
Yeah.
one?
Yes, but, when Lakeshore Construction met me to provide the two quotes, I walked around, because they're also developers. And he looked at the site where the maintenance garage currently is. He said if we were to demolish that, he said you could probably actually put like 3 units right here. And then we have a lot right behind, Park, 110 Park. There's an area where you could fit like 3 more. So we figured actually without doing anything, we could probably build like 7 units with
But
what we have.
I like a green space.
Yeah.
I mean, if we build anything, I'd like us to remember to have the green space maybe behind it or whatever, something so that people have a space to go to.
Yeah.
Well, that up there at Holly Court, that's kind of like we own the whole block.
Yeah, we would
Yeah.
totally revamp that
Green space
here.
right
I mean,
there to that.
I think we'll end up with a lot of demolition there and we can redesign that space.
Say 19.
Yeah, yeah.
So on the thing with the
Let me know the
trampoline,
day you're gonna do
is
that.
it possible for you to check with 2 or 3 other communities of similar size? Just to see if they, my personal opinion is that they are traditionally, I know my dealings with military communities, they weren't allowed.
Yeah.
Because of not just the liability, but also for the fact that they take up a lot of room on your lawn and they kills everything underneath. So,
Oh, we'll be out there, we'll move it.
yeah, but
So
the,
that,
and then,
yeah, so
like I said,
initially that would be my
typically they're not well
recommendation, but
maintained.
I'm
They are
going to get a little
literally
bit of slack from residents, so I have to make sure that the board agrees with me.
How
I've
many,
seen 2
how
up
many
there.
potential, I mean,
It's 2.
I think there's 3.
I think we have to go back and see what the lease says too.
I could not find a
Couldn't
address.
find
I
it.
could not find it.
it's sad because, we'd love to see the, have activity for the children and, I understand the drawbacks of it.
Or maybe we overlook it until we get our own green space.
There's a park right across the street.
Doesn't have a trampoline.
That's true. There's a reason.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Trampoline.
One of the concerns is other kids going over there and playing on it. and-
Yeah, there's nothing that,
Feel better
like, there's
after a couple
no,
drinks too.
there are no fences to
No.
keep other neighborhood
No,
people
no,
out.
it's like if you had a pool, you're required to put a fence around. it.
Exactly, and yeah, the liability to us, it's all on us.
Yeah,
regardless.
I think it's something that we should allow.
The 2 that I always see at least have, I think, taken care of. 3, but it's like, that's the other thing,
Oh,
people
yeah.
put these up and then they fall apart.
Well, let us bring back a recommendation.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Just check and see what, again, if all the other similar housing organizations have decided that it's probably not a good idea. So then the next thing you know, I'm gonna want a climbing wall in my backyard, so,
The next thing, before we had discussed the work session with the city, I'm not sure how far out we wanna start trying to get that scheduled.
I would start working on that,
Yeah.
because they're gonna fill out their stuff with other projects that are going on. There's gonna be a ton of them starting here pretty soon.
Okay,
We're liable for their personal stuff.
Well,
if someone's injured on our
If somebody
property.
gets
Yeah.
hurt on our property.
so if another family, some
Oh,
kids,
yeah.
the neighbor kids came over and
The residents aren't home,
Yeah.
somebody else has taken over their trampoline, they get
I
hurt.
see, all right.
But, that is all I have.
so can I back up to that comment about the work session? So I think it's important that we get some continuity from everybody about how we proceed. When Baker Tilly has this recommendation that we're gonna demolish, then, or whatever we're gonna do. And then I think before we come back to a proposal about building new, I think we should be meeting with the city and planning commission or whoever to make sure that this is something that the community wants and everybody's on board.
I think it's good, very important. And people have to go somewhere. They might need a larger unit to go to in the temporary. And we know historically that can be difficult for residents in this area, depending, where in the city. Again, I think the north side has been saturated, in my personal opinion. So we're gonna have to work around other places in the city, so.
Sure.
I think the more conversations we can have.
Yeah.
Especially now, since there is, the land bank is, and the city are working together on properties that are becoming available. There's opportunity here.
Well, in the hospital, I mean, is that something we do wanna?
I think it's
possibly
the
look
conversation.
into? But, I mean, it will be gone
It's in the
if we
city.
don't start looking
Yeah.
at it.
And
Someone-
they have been working
Yeah.
diligently trying to find somebody,
Yeah.
because again, it's terrible to have a property like that just go to waste.
Yeah.
And it's been a well-maintained property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They-
Except for
Well,
the
it's only a few
They-
blocks from our other property.
And they've had some vandalism. They caught a guy in there stealing copper, but he's in prison, so.
The city planning commission has already asked that I come talk with them.
Oh, good. I'd be happy to go along
I
to.
think that would be-
So do you guys know, is it a historic site? Is it designated?
No.
Yeah,
But it could be.
It
Oh,
could be,
theoretically, sure.
because
Earlier than that, I was born there too.
Oh.
Yeah,
That was the church's, it was Saint Mercy Hospital.
it's mercy, yeah, it's.
So,
But it was a hospital
No,
before
yeah, 'cause it
that.
had salt baths.
It was a clinic in Saltback in the
It could
1900s.
be, yeah, the very turn of the century.
The other historic building, I don't know if they've, done anything with that, it's the Brady building.
But that's all owned. That's,
Yeah,
yeah,
those
that's
are
all
correct.
city owned.
Does that property come with there's another building back there that's not being used.
Yeah, the old salt baths, there's.
That which is connected to it. That's the oldest building on site. That dates back into the 1900s.
Plus there's like, what, 10 acres?
Yeah, I thought there's 10 or 20 acres.
That doesn't.
oh, so you could develop additional,
Well, yes and no, because that's the backside of that 10 acres, 3 or 4 acres of it is not buildable because it's on a 70-degree.
yeah, the front, going down the front side.
Correct, that is
Yeah.
all private. Actually, the city just said they will not maintain that road going up at Care Center Drive with the other one.
Yeah.
Because that is private, that is all their property.
But could there be some other developable land there? Oh, so
Yeah.
see, now that's a whole
You've got a
different,
winter sledding hill there.
well, but if to demolish and rebuild okay, so that's a different conversation.
Aren't they asking 6 for it?
No.
600? How much they
It
asking?
was a mill, last at 1 point something.
Yeah, it was just around $1 million was the asking
Well,
price, but they have
did he-
not gotten any bids.
No, it is a private company
Oh.
that had a rehab center. in it.
Okay,
And again, a company that has, COVID hit hard. So they kind of closed, it was a private kind of fly-in rehab.
oh,
It was supposed to be top of the line, but it fell apart, so.
Doesn't
Maybe some
the bank own
desperation
it now?
there.
No.
so just so you know, the
I thought the bank.
historic designation, you're eligible, like if you're 50 years or older, so like we're all historic, so, but. So there, if it could be, there's the historic money, like Karen saw our buildings, we had $1 million worth of historic
Yes.
tax credits. You have to get the designation to the National Park Service, but that's not difficult.
And what you did downtown is exactly what.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, that's a different conversation.
Committee reports,
Yeah.
finance committee, anything to report?
No.
Well, we only have one member of the finance committee anyway. We should, yeah, it's just you.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's all it's
Well,
like.
so that's a good time to bring this up, Steve, too, because our annual meeting is June, which is the next meeting. So,
Prior to the next meeting.
well, yeah, it's the beginning of the next meeting. Yep. So then
We're
we'll,
both on June
Yeah.
20th, though,
Right.
right?
and we'll elect officers. So I think we can, and then we can do the committee appointments then. I think
Okay.
that's okay. I think the board's set now, and I think,
Just.
Thank
For the
you.
drawdowns.
Okay, personnel committee, anything to report?
Gonna meet after that.
yeah, we're gonna meet after that, but one thing discussion is the union contract is open there's a wage opener that we need to address by July. So we will probably, hopefully have something at the June meeting to discuss, and we may need to go into closed session too.
Resident Council Commissioner Report. Jim?
What? That delivery packages and barbecue grill.
I just wanted, like, you can go ahead and give your report, but I just wanted to make sure that we brought up those two items. Because at the last resident council meeting I was at, there were some questions
Alright.
about those.
And at
items.
our last meeting, we had talked about both of them.
Yeah. But you went to the meeting, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, Deb, I forgot about it until it was half over with.
We had, they invited city officer there and it was Officer Sand. And they asked him about marijuana. And he said that, this is not federal property. And I said, public. He said, no. He said, there's a business on it, so it's private. And I learned something I didn't know. If you're out there and you have your car running, you can get a DUI. I was like, oh. Means you're basically driving it if it's turned on.
Mhm.
I never knew that.
In the parking lot?
Yeah, and if you're parked at the beach and you have your car
Okay,
on,
okay,
And
a
you-
public parking lot.
yeah, or here. If you're in this parking lot and your car is on, you're driving it. And you
But
can
I,
get a
this is private
DUI,
property though.
doesn't matter where. If the car is turned on. And you're just sitting there drinking or smoking.
Well, I never have to worry about that anyway.
Yeah.
If you're doing either of those, then your vehicle is, if it's an impairment.
That was about it.
So I can just kind of chime in on the delivery of packages. At Century Terrace, we had some issues of, so when they deliver packages, a lot of times they'll leave them in front of the door, the resident's door. And luckily, we do have a lot of cameras there, so we were able to determine where the packages went. And to my knowledge, we were able to retrieve all the packages that had been taken.
Oh, good.
But we had talked about, is there a possibility of getting like a box where it's secured and the resident, it's secured until the resident gets the package, so that's, I don't know.
Can't
if
they
there's-
just put a thing on the door to come pick it up at the office? I mean, can't they deliver at our office?
That's
Like
what they
when I
used
come
to
home,
do.
yeah, I find a thing on the door that says they were there, they'll be delivering. But it'd be the same, like, we're here, but you have to go pick up. I don't know if they would come and do that.
I don't know if they do two locations, though. That's like
Yeah,
having them go.
unless we just make robocalls,
So-
you have a package, you have a package.
What's the process for delivering just regular mail?
We have mailboxes.
So what the postal system recommends is kind of what you're talking about. You have large lockers. And each of them have keys, and when you have a package, the key goes in with your mailbox. Alerting you, hey, I got a package, and you go in, and the key only comes out one way. So once you turn and open that box, and you pull out your package, then the key is left. And then they were able to extract the key the next time that they use that.
Yeah, that would work for the mail.
No, for
We have
packages.
FedEx,
Oh,
FedEx cannot get in
yeah,
their mailbox,
you- yeah.
or
Right,
But we don't have
UPS.
that at either place. We don't have the large parcel thing,
No,
just a small.
we have shelf here
but we
underneath
can do
the,
that.
underneath.
yeah, that would work for the mail.
Do
You're right, yeah,
packages,
yeah.
do packages work good what they're doing at Harborview? We don't have any issues, do we?
No, and I haven't, recently, I don't know of any issues. I don't know if there's any residents that hear that know of any issues with packages.
She lets me know when she grabs one of my mail packages. Tammy, I've got your package. I says, okay, Deb, put it in front of my door. I do that for
So-
a couple of times.
Yeah.
Well-
I just brought up because we had talked about the resident council meeting. The other item is the barbecue grills.
Well, let's stay on the packages, okay? Because in an enclosed building where you have like 100 apartments inside one set of walls, UPS used to never deliver unless you were home. They would leave a tag on your door and say, we will be back tomorrow to deliver this package, or you tell us when you're gonna be here, and we'll be there that day. I
Which
think
that can be inconvenient though.
Yeah,
it can be inconvenient. I
Did
mean,
UPS
other
actually
re-
come in the building and go right to the people's door?
Yeah.
If someone's there 11
Yeah.
minutes.
I mean, we
Yeah,
could
because
get an
now they do-
unlocked box,
They
like a
do a
box, so
visual
to be a little more secure.
delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right, they do visual deliveries, which means they knock once, they take a picture that it's at your door,
Yep.
and then they're gone.
Yep.
So that's their proof of delivery.
Yep.
They don't have to give it to you anymore.
Yeah.
So those rules have all
but they
changed.
can only get in if someone's opening the door for them.
That's true.
They don't have access.
It's extra charge for signature.
How do they get in?
I'm not sure how they're doing
They
it.
used to have a certain code.
I think they know the code.
Okay, so we could purchase a locker that's right on the camera and have FedEx, UPS, the mail, put packages in there.
And how does anybody know their package is in there?
Then they tag the door.
That's a,
Yeah, I don't know that they'll do that. I don't think
I
they'll do
don't
that.
know.
yeah, I don't know. And then.
And
how-
currently it hasn't been an issue
I would say-
recently. We could talk about it. Maybe the resident council could talk about it again.
Yeah, I mean, was this a one-time incident of someone taking people's packages?
I think it was multiple times.
And it was at the same offender?
No,
So.
And was it for the most part do-gooders? They were just saying, well, geez, I'm gonna just hold on to this or
No.
not do that?
not,
Do they get stolen?
but we seen who it
Yes.
was and we found it. We did a police report and we addressed it.
Are they getting stolen at their door? But not if they're
Well,
downstairs?
that's larceny, in fact,
Correct.
it's the postal.
Well, then they just need to be left-
Yeah.
No time.
Yeah,
Then they just need to be left downstairs, not taken to the apartments.
I think it has to be, it would have to be an open store so people could come and just a shelf or something that they could put. If you're expecting a delivery, then you have to, if that's the,
That's kind of, we do it here.
yeah.
If
If
they're
that's-
not taking them and they're downstairs, then let's not take them up to the apartments. Because they're not being stolen downstairs.
Of course, we could do whatever we wanted and it's not necessarily what the UPS and FedEx and Amazon will do too.
Or our guests,
Or, yeah,
so.
Okay, I just brought up, I know Steve was concerned about it, because
Yeah.
he came to the last resident council meeting that I was at, and so that's why I just wanted to bring it up.
It's legitimate. I mean,
it is.
if we had them in one area, all we'd have to do is have one camera or two cameras and we'd know exactly
agree.
who was in or out.
I know how they do it at Hillcrest. They have a box. And if you do have a delivery and you happen to go check your mail, you do have that additional key. And it is indicating, hey, I got this key. That means I have time to.
That's only for the post office.
No, they actually do it for FedEx too, or UPS.
How does FedEx or UPS get into someone's post office box?
That one I don't know.
Because I know the post
think they
office
can do
does it,
that.
Yeah.
but it's not UPS or FedEx.
I don't know.
Because the post office apps, you have to put these mailboxes out there
Mhm,
and you have to pay for them and they have to be a certain code, but you don't own them.
that's true. We are renting them.
And you can't have a key made for them either.
Of course, maybe the big boxes are privately owned. And the post office just has the opportunity to use it with everyone else.
Well, we might be able to do something like that.
That's,
A lot
Maybe,
of this just will go away if we had an office.
Yeah. Yes.
Here.
and maybe we have a chat with the postmaster here.
Yeah.
And see, maybe they might have some thoughts.
Well, I'm sure, we're not the first people that have
No,
ever had this.
No, so,
person, jailing a couple of people who take your package, you probably have to go a long way as well.
Well, if they were a repeat offender.
Yeah, it was not
I
resident.
would say
It
that,
was
but
not
every time
resident.
we've had it happen,
It
it's
was
been somebody
visitor.
else.
Oh, it wasn't residents, it was visitors.
Right.
Visitors.
Well,
Well, rather than.
this is the world we live in, unfortunately.
but it's an issue in your neighborhoods. People, there are porch pirates all over the place that watch for deliveries.
Okay, barbecue grills.
Yeah. So I would propose to possibly purchase a couple of gas grills. I'm not sure the details, how we would do how many and how we would allow the residents to use them, but, what are your thoughts?
I like the fact that they could have grills to use. I would say it'd have to be a sign-up policy to use, so you knew who was the last person. And did they clean up after? And then would there be a usage fee to keep the propane tanks filled? You know, that would just be us. And, maybe we could get like Gilroy's or someone to sponsor, give us a deal on some
Fisher Gas.
Fisher Gas.
Yeah, it's only $10 to pull.
I
The
think.
rent it all has propane too.
No, I mean to buy the grill.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I mean for the grill itself. I mean, I don't know, what the residents, would you guys use them?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Would you be happy if you had a grill?
Oh, yeah.
oh, yeah.
The way I foresee it, Jenny, is that those grills are kept in our maintenance shed. And if someone signs up, Kevin and Al deliver it to either Harbor View or Second Terrace.
That would be a
No,
lot.
I-
And then when the next morning after they've done it, they pick them up and bring them back.
Two labor.
Put them at the back.
Yeah, why not?
Patio over there.
Why not get them that are in the ground?
Chain it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just secure the grill.
I think they're gonna get vandalized.
well, if they do, then we're done with grills.
Yep,
That's just the bottom
Well,
line.
I agree with
We
that.
buy a cover, we chain it up, we have usage,
You can take the propane tank
yeah,
and, hold that.
I know,
over
but
it.
it's.
Would we purchase one or two? What would the
One in
residents
each
need?
I
building.
would say two.
I would
Yeah.
say two, they might be.
Probably.
One here and one there.
Yeah, but with the thing about being vandalized and stuff, it's not gonna come from our community here. We
Right,
got a house on Fifth Avenue, it's a dope house. Right now it's talking, they selling dope, making meth and everything over there. And the black kid that's over there, a year and a half ago, I caught him stealing a bike and the rake, and I went to some people and told them, I got the bike and the rake back. So it's not necessarily the tenants per se, but the neighborhood.
Cameras.
And honestly, if you get the right grill, you can actually secure, a very easy way to do it is, a lot of the condos, what do you call them, the Airbnbs that we stay at, when they have grills, the gas tank is locked with just a numbers
Oh.
padlock. So you have to open the bottom and then to turn on the
Oh,
gas.
That's a good idea.
And then you lock it up when you leave, and then you basically, that's how you sign in and sign out, is you just basically unlock your tank, and then everything else is pretty much where it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure where we put it here at Harbor.
It'd have to be like over here on the patio or the
Over by
smoking
the-
patio. Yeah.
You have a place where you can have a picnic
There.
table and sit
Yeah.
after you cook.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Over by the picnic
So-
table.
Yes.
I'm gonna purchase 2 grills, or I'll work on seeing if I can get any donations, but if not,
Or a deal, maybe.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, if we say we want to buy 2, you know.
Yeah, family farm at home too.
Yeah, I don't-
They may.
either way.
Okay.
Home Depot.
Tires, Home Depot.
Home Depot.
Well, keep it in our town.
Sure.
We can-
Okay, 2 gas grills.
I think if we put them out there without.
Let's think
we're gonna
positive.
have to accept
I would definitely secure them.
Yeah, we'll secure 'em.
Even just drive a significant stake in the ground, put some chain around it, just so that somebody can't just quickly
Yep.
pick it up, throw it in their trunk of their car.
Well, we'll get a good sized grill.
Yeah,
Right, it's not like they're gonna just.
and
Yeah, we've had a lot of comments regarding it, so I think it's nice that you guys are gonna give the residents a chance anyway.
Yeah.
Now, also, there's been comments about fire pit.
I
No, no.
I don't think I'd put a
One thing
fire
at a
pit
time.
in, yeah. I
Well,
think what the city
think
has
because
done
of-
are nice, they have fire, one of those triangular things they made.
Yeah, we have those, but we also have fire pits on the beach, but it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
You're not in a residential area. You're in a large.
So
open
no
beach
to the
area
fire
with
pit.
Lots of people.
We
Well, I
we
was
will
really
deal
gung ho
with
on
this.
fire pits until Mark said, what are you gonna do when one of your tenants fall into it?
Yeah, well, most, I don't know what the city's ordinance is, but I know most of them, you're not allowed to open burn, only in
they got
designated
the
areas.
screen thing going.
I
Yeah.
think let's just start with the grills and we'll
Yeah.
go from there.
Okay.
The
Thank you.
Fishers on Wednesday costs $10 to fill your LP tank.
And if people go to church, it's half price. Because if you use your church bulletin, you get 50% off on your filling your tank.
We'll bring them to Mary, just bring our.
We'll tell Kevin he's gotta go to church. It used to be free.
Okay.
Just make sure they're substantial enough, Lori. I mean, you know.
You
the
need an
bargain
extra
part of
tank.
me, it says,
for each.
Yeah.
don't
Yep.
pay more than $99 for one, but make sure they're a nice grill.
Well, I know at my house, we pretty much have to buy a new grill every year. They just don't make them like, and we're spending between $200 and $300. And we don't grill out that much, but they just, the burners just.
Right, well, and a good cover.
Yeah.
is important.
And you don't want you don't want one that you're gonna be cooking 50 burgers on
Yeah.
either, so.
If you get the infrared ones, they're
Okay.
fairly solid on top,
Yeah.
and you don't get all the drip, you
Yeah.
get drippings
A
down.
lot of people are doing those, what is it, Blackstone?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, those are griddles.
No, they have grills.
And it's,
They have all.
talk to the people about what they recommend.
Yeah.
For the situation for easy.
Yeah, you have to, find something that will work for.
the winter time.
I think they have other ones.
I use my grill. all the
Okay,
Yeah,
Okay, anything else?
no, that's such a good.
Can I go to the residence council thing?
Sure.
Okay, so like, I only got a couple of things. The tenants are running around telling the tenants that this new company has a portal for us to pay rent. And Manistee, Century Terrace and Harbor View are on their portal. Then K and J or B or whatever, we're on that, so
Yeah, I'd hope to
The
address
tenants-
that in a newsletter, but so eventually the residents will be able to pay their rent through that portal if they would like to. So it'll actually be nice because we don't accept credit cards now. So I didn't have enough information on it to put it in the newsletter. So that's why I know I had talked to Commissioner Taylor regarding it and I had wanted to put something in the newsletter.
I
but
told everyone.
I didn't, right, because I didn't have enough information. So currently, just continue to pay your rent the way you're doing it, and it will
Yes.
be in the June it will be in the June newsletter about how to go about, I'll have more details by then. We're still in the beginning stages of converting to KMG management.
If they want to, they can continue in their same vein if they
Yeah.
want.
Because there's some people that don't.
It's just another option.
Right, it's another.
And for some people who are trying to build their credit, that is one way that they can build their credit by paying the rent through a credit card company.
I don't think that they will allow credit cards.
You don't?
I
Okay.
think
I
it
wasn't
is,
sure.
Right,
Banking,
Direct,
Right.
oh, from your checking account?
right.
checking your savings probably. Yeah, so I'll have more information and that will be in the June newsletter.
so the information got out faster.
So I'm glad you brought that up, Deb, because I had wanted to.
Good.
address-
Travels fast.
Deb, did that answer your question?
yes.
Okay, next.
And then we're getting a new smoking shed. They're talking about over here. Some of the tenants are saying it's too close to the building. And there's bushes, they got it marked off and there's bushes, they're scared that somebody's gonna be in them bushes. And try to get somebody,
There's no shed.
there's no lighting.
Time out. Who's talking about a smoking shed? Because this commission hasn't done anything for it about it.
Everybody in Century Chairs.
And who's marking out the lot?
I don't know, there is a mark out there like they did on the other side of our building.
Oh, that's just the area where people can stand and smoke,
In the parking lot.
where the gravel
Okay,
is.
okay.
Yeah, gravel, you can't.
So we,
Okay, chairs.
because in the winter, we never marked it. So now that spring's here, Kevin did mark. So we have 3 designated spots now, which back in the day when we designated the smoking areas, we designated those 3 spots, but we never marked this one because we were still under renovation. But now that
One on
spring,
each end. and
he
one in the middle.
marked it
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, we marked it with them.
Okay.
So maybe that's where they think we're gonna build a shed.
Well, originally talked about this, we talked about a little lean-to to sit, you know, during the bad weather and stuff, so. You know,
Yes.
that's where it originally started from, but we had to just go ahead and put in the spots first. Maybe down the road, we could do a lean-to, like you see, like a bus station kind of thing,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But we
Shelter.
don't have an ability to do that right now.
Okay, that'll work.
But Deb, you're saying that's, the residents are concerned that that's not a good spot for it if they were to do it?
Yeah,
So
no,
what it-
because it's
Okay.
not really wheelchair and
Walker, yeah.
walker accessible, you gotta go up that hill.
Yeah, we haven't even to the point where we're even gonna purchase it yet. We'd have to decide if we were gonna purchase one, where it would go.
All three of them are that way, Willie, or just one of them? The
Yeah,
middle
just
one?
this one over here. We
So
just
you can
made,
go to this one without a
This
problem.
one, yeah.
Okay. And that one over there.
This one here now.
Okay.
And that's something we'd have to certainly consider, but to make sure that the smoking area
is accessible.
accessible.
That's one reason why we don't have an
Well, two of the three
actual
are mixed.
shed yet, because we would need to, yeah,
Yeah, maintain it.
expensive.
Anything else, Deb?
Yeah.
And while we're at, any other public comments? Or-
Yes, I had two, already that one that has the deadbolt, what did that cost? Just the one apartment, 420.
Oh, I'd have to look back. Actually, I didn't pay for that one. They actually, because we were trying to decide if we could do deadbolts and I needed the fire marshal to approve it. The company came in, installed that one, and the fire marshal came and inspected it. But we were still waiting for Commonwealth to get through the final renovations to see what kind of funding we have available to continue to work on additional improvements to the complex.
But to do them all is too cost effective, they said it costs too much, but if we split the difference, we want to pay half of it. Be secured, I can open my door with a butter knife. Yeah.
We need deadbolts. And I
Okay,
don't
so
know
that's
why we
something I
dropped
can
that
get
subject.
back with. So Commonwealth did come. And I expressed that to him. I showed him the one that we did, Ronnie.
Yeah.
And the good thing is, we weren't sure we could even do it because the way the replacement was in the door, we had to make sure because it's a fire rated door, but we do have the fire marshal on board now with the way
We need
that,
to drill another hole for that.
and you have to use fire caulk and,
Right.
yeah, so anyways, I could reach out to Commonwealth and provide that proposal and see if that is something.
Even if they would
Because-
split the difference.
Those doors as they are not a legal door because they don't have a deadbolt.
So
Right.
I
He's
think it was
right.
$24,000 to do all 119.
Well, even that slip, if you had a lip, it comes out towards the rubber, you can't get nothing in there. Nobody.
But I suggested, you know, if, I do believe that we gotta go deadbolts, either Commonwealth is gonna do it or we'll have to do it. But instead of keys, go to a card type system. Or it could be programmed in the computer and we don't have to worry about everyone losing their keys, and every time a new tenant, all we have to do is reprogram the card.
Right, with deadbolt though, you can't lock your key inside because you need the key. to
That's the
lock
other
it.
thing.
I can bring a proposal to the June meeting.
Well,
Well, there's several systems, because I worked in the hotel
Yeah.
industry, and there's several systems out there for deadbolts on your rooms. There's keypads, which are not really any more expensive than a key lock. And then you don't have to worry, you
The
could just,
problem- The
you just
problem
change
people
the-
had with a keypad, because I was first come up, was the tenants say that a lot of the tenants won't remember their.
Yeah, and you can't lose a key. You have a deadbolt, you have.
Right.
Remembering your pin.
Coming in and going out.
I don't,
Not recording.
Yeah, but you're right, a four digit pin.
Yeah.
run out of battery.
and then, like I said, in
Is this
the
down
the other ones is that if you buy the correct kind, the fire department will have a master key that'll open, and so will you have a key that will open all the deadbolts in case somebody gets locked out.
Lori,
And then,
It's over here.
to change the key is very, very simple. You know, you have like 20 different blanks and you just go in
Yeah.
and reconnect it with it.
The only question is the revenue, because that's a Commonwealth decision. It's not our decision. And it's gotta come out of cash flow from the
But
property.
that even if we could talk to them. about,
Yeah,
hey,
it would-
well, let's split the difference.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
How can we do this?
I don't think we're gonna be splitting the difference. It's, can we do this and we'll pay for it.
Yeah.
Well, I would ask them first if
Yeah.
they would do it, and especially if it is, I would think it's considerably important safety
Yeah.
requirement, so.
Okay, and the commissioner reports. Before everyone gets started, I just
Well,
want
Ronnie had another question.
to. Pardon me.
Yeah, one more, there was, I heard a rumor, I don't know if it's true. A woman was found with a joint in her apartment. She's being evicted and it wasn't lit. So I went through the policy, I heard about it, I mean, the lease. I went all the way through and it says, any smoking material has to be lit to be in violation. There's nothing else about retaining it and having it in your apartment.
Was there a complaint filed? Why would someone see?
No,
it?
maintenance went in to do something, and they saw her laying there, so they turned it in, now she's being evicted. But it wasn't lit.
But it is a controlled substance and it's illegal.
Where's it say in the lease you can't have it in your apartment?
Illicit drugs.
It's not
But
illegal.
it's
It's not
marijuana,
illegal.
Not in the,
Federally, it's
it's not
illegal.
in the lease.
But we're not a federal
We're
property.
not a federal.
We're not on federal property.
Okay.
This,
It has to be in the lease, whatever, if it's a federal enclave, stated in the lease.
No,
Can't have
it's
but
prohibited,
not stated. It
marijuana.
only says it has to be
To
lit.
smoke it in the building.
No, I think prohibited, period,
In
on,
possession,
in possession, yeah. Yeah,
I thought it
no,
was.
no question about
but
that.
that's in the lease. It has nothing to do.
Yeah,
with
it's in the,
law.
pretty sure it's in the
the
rules and
lease.
policies, yeah.
I don't know if anyone has been evicted for that, but Laura, you.
Yeah, I'm not sure what particular case that is. And,
Laura
and,
gets back.
I know there's been some situations and I would say that, I mean, I've talked with Lori, I've talked with Mark. They're trying really hard to give everybody an opportunity. There's been a lot of different complaints. There are so many more things that are going on. You don't even realize that these guys have really tried to, it's like, no, we're not kicking you out, but, kind of give you that warning.
you'd always get a warning,
Yeah.
unless
You
it's
know, so-
egregious or a
Because
crime.
At this point, I just kind of in my head, I'm like, well, I don't know, what other things we don't know that's been going on with that person.
I just that instant made
Yeah.
me go to the lease to look.
Sure.
And all I saw was any smoking material, it has to be lit to be in violation. But cigarettes, you can have them.
So my question, and again, new to the council, is so if cannabis is illegal, does that also apply to medical?
Yeah, so 24 CFR, it says, well, when they first come out with it was because the only thing in existence at that time, 2014, was medical marijuana. It says it don't matter if you got a card in federal,
Yeah.
it's against federal law.
Federal law, but now, yeah,
So that's one, but that was 2014. I don't know of any other changes,
okay.
but I don't see that in the lease.
And then is it only for smoking materials or is it also for if you're taking
Candles.
gummy bears?
Yeah, it's all
things like that?
prohibit-
So
yeah.
It's 100%
Yeah.
prohibited.
Yeah.
Okay.
Though it's legal in Michigan.
It's legal in
It's
Michigan.
still a federal,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
still not legal federally.
Yeah.
This is where the states and the feds always
Yeah.
have difficulties.
So the lease needs to be clear.
I think we can clarify it a little bit more. The thing is that trying not to get too specific, because maybe half the people would have to leave, So
Yes.
have enough the conversation of making it clear, but yet. not so
I don't believe that Lori and the maintenance staff is going from apartment to apartment looking for roaches.
No.
Or. pardon me.
So we had to ban smoking, we had to ban all marijuana as part of the federal,
Sure.
I mean, we didn't have a choice.
I get it.
Yeah,
I- Think about
And there's been a lot of talk about this federal law that just got changed. Marijuana has gone from a Schedule III drug to a Schedule I. It's still illegal.
Yeah.
Just not as, it's not a felony anymore.
Right. And I think that was just the first step. I think.
no,
I think the industry is growing now with 26 states having recreational
Bill-
I think it'll change.
It's from a billion.
They're changing it from a 1 to a 3.
But even the 24 CFR says it's up to the discretion of the owner. To grow it. Even though it says illegal, it's up to the discretion of her.
Well,
If
the
it
law's
was
not
say-
the owner.
Comments.
CTHB.
Yeah,
owns-
a limited partnership, and yeah. That they've already
We're
made,
managing.
Yeah.
We're not. CDH.
Leash. Lease. There's, it states that all dogs must be on a 4-foot leash. There's only 4 or 5 of us that have that 4-foot leash. And the rest of them are on the ones that go out, so when they're coming off the elevator, a lot of times, they don't have that dog to them. And accidents happen, you know, but we gotta get them all on 4-foot leashes. I mean, that's how I got Bear in here, you know.
Well, I think that we need first to get all dogs and cats in these buildings registered, so we know who has them and what they are.
Yeah,
And,
Well, yeah, we need to enforce it. I was thinking, trying to find a 4-foot leash is almost impossible. 6 foot, is okay too, but I think being clear and making sure that people, but, and you guys know this, you lived here, you've lived through it. The rules have been bent and bent and bent
Yeah.
to broken.
yeah.
So now Lori and Mark, this team, we're all trying to bring that back in line so that everybody has the same treatment and that we all are living in somewhat of a harmonious state.
Yeah.
And you're right, that is not fair if you have a dog and you let it shoot out and that there are people who are afraid of that.
Yeah,
So you've got to be considerate of your
Yeah.
fellow man. So
yeah,
we can put that back into, that'd be a good one at the resident council. One, you have to register your animal. 2, you better take care of your animal and all your animal waste.
yeah,
And 3, you have to control that animal.
I can do that, we can bring that up in our meeting.
Yeah.
Reminder for next month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's important stuff.
Yeah.
You're right. It's very important. And if you are following it and the other people aren't, that's just asking for trouble.
Yeah,
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 good.
and
I don't know if I got it clear on that deadbolt, but my steering cost was from me. For my deadbolt, I will pay half.
I don't think that we'll ever ask for that. I think we should change into a deadbolt system.
Okay.
And we should do it, not push it out 6 months, but try to get this, because I hear concern, you prefer to have more safety. I don't want to drag this out forever.
So now you have a key to get into your room now, correct?
Yes.
So hopefully with the deadbolt and the key to your door would be the same. Wouldn't that
Well,
be
the
goal?
beauty would be with the deadbolt, we have a lot of residents, because it's a push button lock. So we have a lot of residents that accidentally lock it and walk out without their key.
Right.
So we have a lot of after hour lockout.
Okay,
I think we would disable the lock and.
yeah, it would only be a deadbolt. That's the only way it could work.
got it. Got it. Well, otherwise,
you
like
would
I
need
said,
your-
your matching key, but that's,
You would need your
Little bit
key
worse.
to lock it.
Yeah.
So yeah, your key would lock the deadbolt, and then you'd have it with you when you left.
I don't know
You could
how,
lose it somewhere else.
how much more it would cost to go to a card system or fob system. But I think we really should consider it because of the.
But if you leave that inside though, too, you're back to the same.
Well, you can't lock it without it.
It's a higher.
Oh, the key lock.
yeah, card, the same, just like in your hotel, the door automatically locks and you use your card to open.
I know, I get
We
it.
want to get away from the automatic locking. though.
Yeah,
Got it.
Yeah, you leave the card inside.
But it was a very reasonable original quote. It was just over $20,000 for 119 units.
And maybe it's something we could do and
Until we got in our.
bill the property back somehow, take the cost on ourselves.
That's true.
So,
Home Depot, like,
Okay, there was a thing brought up where Kevin found,
Join.
a joint in an apartment, you evicted the lady.
Oh,
Is that true?
I mean, it's rumor going around.
No.
And that caused me to read the lease, and it said in there, any smoking material had to be lit to be in violation, correct?
So marijuana is not allowed on the property.
So two separate issues.
Yeah, so to so we have not done any evictions for, I'm trying to think, we went to court on a couple non-payments of rent. But that's not true, we did not, Kevin did not find a joint and we evicted somebody. But to discuss, could that happen? Yes, that is possible, that could happen if,
But it hasn't.
but it has not.
But the lease isn't clear on that. It only says any smoking material has to be lit.
But
No,
that's
the
under
lease
the
is
smoking
clear.
policy. There's another policy directly involved with drugs.
Which is my understanding, there's some things going on right now with the government too, with it's under the Controlled Substance Act.
We talked about it.
Oh, okay,
Your point is that in the lease, it's not clear.
It's not
so
clear. It
we-
only says all
Yeah.
smoking material has to be lit to be in violation.
But
No,
also
I
too,
think
in the
there's-
lease, I'm sure we have a reference to adhering to all policies and procedures of the entity. And there is in that piece that marijuana is not allowed, so maybe bringing those two closer together.
yeah, it was probably before you moved in, Ronnie, but twice I provided the guidance from HUD. Which is very old, so I actually reached out to HUD
2014.
and said, yeah, so I said, I need to know what the stance is right now, what HUD's stand is on this, and that's what they sent me. So that's what I provided all the residents. It is 10 years old now. But I have not received any,
It's not changed.
okay, so marijuana is not allowed on the property. And what it states is we're not to provide assistance to people that are using a controlled substance. So it says to deny housing to individuals that are using a controlled substance under this certain act.
Even though this is not a public housing,
But it's still HUD. We have
Good money.
but.
HUD multifamily
The
money,
HUD is doing the,
their PBRA portion of it.
right.
They're funding the project.
okay.
Yeah,
They're probably
multifamily.
paying more for most people's rents than what.
So what I tell residents, I have met with some residents regarding, when, we have found marijuana on the property. And I have met with residents and, I just explained to them, if you want to use it, you just can't do it here. So,
And they get a lease violation first, so not an eviction.
so we do try and work with them to, so that they're not using it.
But I think to address your point, I think the bigger concern was with people smoking on the property. More so than the marijuana, it was smoking in general that was causing problems. I know that was a big issue 2 or 3 years ago on council, is the complaints coming from residents saying, you're not supposed to be any smoking in the building, but as soon as you will open the door, you could smell smoke. So I think that was the most important part of this is allowing,
And we
making
have
sure-
one resident, she says she'll die if she smells marijuana. So. And she was moved into a house. But she violated that.
And I'm allergic to it.
Oh, Lori,
Again.
maybe
you,
just in
Kim,
the next newsletter, because we've had quite a few new residents and it seems like the rumor mill is alive and well. That maybe just reiterate that, hide your marijuana if maintenance is coming into your apartment. Number one. Number two, no smoking or possession on the property.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you
That's
helped
just-
me highlight that notice the one day, cause you
Yeah.
were like, let's highlight this and let's highlight that, and I put it out in the newsletter, so I could
You
I could
gotta get
send
the
that
ball
again.
rolling.
Yeah, just because we do have, a number of new residents and just, it's always good to have a reminder and
People get confused about.
And if people want, when I meet with people too that smoke cigarettes in the building, I'm like, if you want to smoke cigarettes, that's your choice. You just can't do it here. You need to move somewhere to another landlord that allows that. We don't allow
there
it.
isn't a landlord that allows smoking. in
Yeah.
any-
There's not.
I don't see us changing that policy to smoke.
No, no,
Uh,
no.
And we're trying to address it.
I've been in rental for almost 30 years. We haven't allowed smoking in units.
No.
at all.
There's no multifamily properties that you can smoke in anymore. That just isn't. And HUD is banned. We literally have to ban smoking in the public housing side. So,
Do we have a lot of smokers? Is it 50%? Maybe we could get a hypnotist in here and help them all out.
Well, yeah, it's a social policy thing. It's like we will allow and make room for this addiction, but we will not for all these addictions, so.
Right. You can't smoke, but you can get drunk.
yeah, it's the,
Well, smoking.
Okay, I have another question that you didn't bring up in your report, Lori, and that's
Okay.
vacancy report.
It's we haven't gotten to it yet. It's on page 2 of the agenda. The agenda was so long, it's 2 pages.
Oh, that's under receive communications?
Yeah.
Right there.
that's in there.
So why do we have?
What number are we on?
Yeah, we're on 8C.
Commissioner reports, comments.
We haven't
Okay.
done
Oh,
the
okay.
Commissioner, because it's gone.
Okay, the only thing, we started there.
Rails.
I do want to make one really quick announcement in case you all haven't figured it out, we do have a new commissioner now. Mick Szymanski, I'm extremely happy to have him on this commission. And I think you can do well
Welcome.
for us. Okay, commissioner reports. Jimmy?
I gave mine.
Okay, Jenny?
I also am very happy to be sharing this commission with Mick Szymanski.
Karen?
I will second, third, and fourth that. You're very grateful.
Mick, do you have any insights on your first?
You know, again, I can only applaud the work that the commission has done over the last 2 years since I've been off council. Again, nothing less than extraordinary how much progress has been made by commission and the staff hopefully to make this a much more comfortable family environment for the residents. So happy to be on board.
I saw Jim out to Myers the other day and I talked to him for a minute and he did look good.
Good to hear that.
I talked to his buddy on the council.
Grabowski.
Yeah, Jim Grabowski, and he said he's still hanging in there.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's ornery, but he's still hanging in there. Okay, and I really don't have anything except for I'm elated with what we've done and where we're going. And I think everyone stays with us for another year or so. You're gonna see remarkable things here.
Looking forward to maybe working with the seniors too. I mean, I'm pretty excited. I've seen what Mark has done, Lori has done over at Big Rapids, and I just have that same vision sitting over there.
You know,
That's prime area.
there's a lot of stuff we could do. I mean, if just to throw something, if we did 20 units over there and we would manage them, but they would be theirs. But if we could use them for the first year while we're doing our rad conversion to move people into, then move them back.
Yep.
You know, something like that.
If we can't get the old house.
I think there's a lot of potential here, a lot of potential. And
You're never leaving.
No.
You're gonna develop for us forever.
I like the development side of things. And,
I think we're gonna show this city just exactly what a housing commission is.
well, we're the entity to do it. The Housing Commission is the entity to do it. We have a nonprofit already established. I mean, so we have the ability to access some sources that other people don't have the ability to.
It's on that piece too, and I know I've said this before, and again, tour was really an eye opener to go over there, but there was such great collaboration with the city. Big Rapids was so willing to do some projects together that just built great neighborhoods. So again, that's gonna be the importance of having our conversations with the city way down the line, as soon as we can, to start planting this,
Sure.
getting it to grow, so that we can be a partner.
Okay, financial reports.
They're attached. So, the public housing, when I told you the issues, so it reflects only the net cost, not the gross cost. We're gonna change that, so you'll see a different, set of numbers next year. And we are transitioning from BDO, thankfully, to KMG, and KMG is going to be doing the accounting side of it. So
When will they be fully involved? And EDO gone?
BDO's
gone.
gone.
Okay,
That's the last financial report that you'll see from BDO. So it'll be in the KMG format for CTHV.
So April 1st, but it's gonna take a minute for them to get all the.
So,
transition in.
and just so you know, we're transitioning from software from Yardi to one site, and there's a whole, it's a complicated, all the tenant files are transferred,
And
so
it's all layered.
yeah. So,
so they are transferred over to one side already?
yes, but not completely, right?
Right. It's,
So that's no then, right?
that's a no,
Yeah.
but we're in the process.
And how fast do you think that's gonna happen? Next 30 days?
Yes.
And they've been coming over doing training. Lisa's been part of that, and the staff from KMG.
So yeah, we're still waiting, we're revising the agreement with KMG. We hire them to do the tax credit oversight. They did not realize that we needed to be able to print our 59s and work orders through KMG, through the one site. So thought we were up and ready to go, and we went to do the first move in, because I did like 4 move-ins, even though we were down. I did them in Yardi, and then we're starting to convert them over, and the 59 wouldn't print. So they said, oh, we didn't know you needed 59s. So yeah, so we may have to pay KMD a little bit more to add on the 59s and the work orders. So I don't know if we need to bring that agreement
That's just
back.
it's just the licensing on one site, though. Yeah, it's not a big issue.
Okay, so yeah,
Yeah.
so the original contract may be increased slightly to include the work orders and the printing of the 59.
I think it's just another module on the,
And then, we already know that Nick is here.
Yep.
2024 capital fund program.
so I'll talk a little bit about this and confirm the new commissioner's benefit. So this is this is for the public housing side. So scattered sites. So every year, based on congressional appropriations, we get an allocation for capital funds, which is to do physical improvements. Typically, now, we're a small housing commission. We can take all this and put it into operations. This amount, 24, we're gonna start paying for the RAD process out of it. But if you look at the next page, we still have a lot of open capital fund money that hasn't been spent.
We should use that up as quickly as we can, because a lot of times if you've got it there, they'll take it.
Well, yeah, we have deadlines to meet. We have, expenditure deadlines and commitment deadlines for all of those. So I'm not sure why we're sitting on all that money, but we may transfer it into operations, but that doesn't mean we stop doing the improvements at the sites.
We'll pay Lake Shore
Yeah. out of-
capital fund. If you look on are you looking at the second page with the, where it says payment voucher selection at the top? So currently
This one, right?
$44,000 is not obligated. 20,000 is obligated to Baker Tilly. We paid Baker Tilly $5,000. We still owe them 20,000. So that is obligated. And then today, you guys allowed me to obligate the almost 12,000 to Lakeshore Construction. That is the only funds that are obligated out of this 440 or 64,000.
So that doesn't show up on our balance statement at all.
No, it won't show up until it's expensed. Then it'll
No,
go on an
that's
asset
like-
side.
You know,
It'll-
it's ours.
yeah.
It should show up on our balance sheet.
No, it can't, Steve, not in the accounting world. It'll only show up once it's expensed, once it's drawn down.
And
It'll
if
show
you
up.
don't obligate it in time, they take it back.
They take it back. So you can't show it on your balance sheet until it's actually,
But we're not gonna allow that to happen.
no.
Okay,
So we're not worried about the allocation from 21 expiring or anything.
No, I'm going to, revised. Karen helped me get in finally. It's quite a process getting in to the system, to the ELAC system. So Cindy's been doing a great job keeping the payments coming. She does the vouchers, payments. But now that I'm in, I plan to revise 2021 and more than likely we will just draw that down into questions.
Yeah.
And get that off the books, close it out.
Good.
Now, would we be able to use that revenue to do the deadbolts? Wouldn't that be considered a,
No,
no?
no.
No, because it's for the scattered site.
Yeah, this is public housing money.
Got it.
So we have 47 scattered
Scattered,
sites.
Okay.
And
So
this
you
is
can't.
strictly, so
Sure.
when we converted to RAD, we gave up the capital fund program. So
Or
the money
these
that-
units.
Yeah, so these units are actually, we have a half payment,
Mhm.
which is more than what we used to receive for the operating subsidy when they were public housing units. So with the 47 public housing units, we get an operating subsidy annually and we get the capital fund annually.
Got it.
It's separate pots of money.
The land, with
Yeah.
landscaping and mowing and all that stuff could come on.
Yes, for here.
Right.
Yeah, site.
For the scattered site.
Yes.
Vacancy report.
Yes, that doesn't look so
No,
great.
it's like kind of a little shock.
Yeah,
Mass exodus in April.
Now, why are we talking about more houses in town when we can't fill our own?
we can fill them.
Are they leaving faster than we can fill them or?
Well, now that we have Lisa on board, she'll be able to help, and we have people on the waiting list. It's,
It's getting too-
Processing, processing.
What is the average processing time? Just give me a ballpark.
2 years?
From the time that I say I need a house to when you can provide one.
well, currently, a lot of people do not want to live at Century Terrace.
Right.
So we're trying to change that. We, one of the issues was the pest, bed bugs and roaches, which I'm happy to report that we're down to like 4 units.
Good.
And they're almost ready to clear those also. So, at least I can, guarantee people when I'm leasing them at that building that, that's not gonna be an issue. So there's a lot of things that we were working on. But I do have a lot of people that are interested. We just need to get the applications processed. So, now that we have additional staff, we'll be able to fill these units. But also Kevin and Al have been spending their time getting the scattered sites ready for the Inspire inspection. So they have not been prepping these units. So I have been working with Dennis Lou Decorating. So he's helped me keep the scattered sites moving. He'll paint those for us for hourly rate. And so I thought about meeting with Kevin to see if the maintenance staff aren't going to have the time to get me more units ready, if we can maybe hire Dennis Lou.
He's fast and he's very professional and does a great job compared to a maintenance person going in.
Yep, and now that KMG's on board also, because I was getting conflicting information on if I could transfer people or not. So yesterday I did finally get the answer from KMG. It sounds like I am able to do some transfers. So like those two where you say relocate, where you see it says relocation transfer. If I do those two, I think we have completed 100% of the residents that were transferred into small units. So yeah, so now I still have to send the information to KMG and get their approval, but at least they're willing to review it. And so I'm hoping to get, yeah, so we'll get there.
So
Also, when you have an apartment. That's vacancy reports.
while you're looking, can I just add, hiring a new staff person will change the dynamics.
Yeah, well, we're going from a staff of 1.5 to a staff of 2.5, considering that half of your time should be used not on everyday functions.
Well, and when we did the lease up too, there were a lot of residents that weren't really able to fulfill the lease obligations. So we knew that we may have to be dealing with some of those issues, and some of these vacancies are due to those issues.
I applaud you. It's changing a culture and a mindset. You know, Century Terrace, again, I said this earlier, everybody kind of let the rules just slide. And when people can, they will take advantage. And so now we're putting it back in so that it is considered a good place to live. That there are a lot of nice amenities, that there are good people in the building, that, you know, are good neighbors. These are the things that you've done a lot of work.
Yeah, we have a lot of very nice residents. that
Yes,
live
you
here.
do. And if people, and this is the bottom line. And I saw this when I first got on the commission. If you don't follow the rules, you are 1 out of 100. You know, so you go, not everybody else. So, and you're enforcing that, you know, this is a community. And if you don't wanna follow the community like everybody else, then you don't wanna be here. You wanna smoke inside your apartment? You don't wanna be here. Go somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with smoking, but just not here.
It's everybody else is, I mean, 99 other people are complying.
Yeah.
Why can't you? I mean,
And-
it's fairness.
And I'm a smoker.
We need better neighborhoods too. They take pride in their work, they do a good job. This,
But what I wanted to ask was, on your vacancy report, you have Harborview 502. And then you say it's a market rate,
80% unit.
80%.
That's what they call market rate.
but I don't think they're tied to individual apartments. In other words, you have 3 here at 30%, 8 at 60.
It's a number, Steve. You have to have so many in 30%, so many
Right.
60s and so many. There's only 5 market rate units, which we call market rate, which I think it's a misnomer. It's 80% units because the tax credit eligibility is only at 60%.
Nobody in 120.
No,
Not at
No,
all.
they could, they're not eligible.
No missing middle.
No.
Because we have to be under 60% with the
80.
little blend.
60% for the tax credit units. We have 5 non-tax credit units that have to do the RAD rents, which are 80% or below.
But they're not assigned, like, if 502 could be a 30% unit, as long as we have a market rate rent somewhere else in Harborview.
We're not.
Well, I met
clear
with
on-
KMG about that yesterday.
We're not clear on that, Steve.
So I did ask if we could go, so currently, that, so like that came up because we just filled another market rate and it came up as a 60. So because we were able to qualify the person
For
at,
60.
yeah, so we are getting
Oh.
the HAP payment on that unit. But it's,
You would
So
think
that's
it'd
the
be a
one.
percentage and not necessarily tied to
Yeah.
a door.
Right.
That's the one you would fill first.
Typically make on
Market
tax
rate, you let
credits,
Set empty.
like the project that Karen saw, it was tied to the unit because all the units are different. So I think we're able to
yeah, they
maneuver.
showed me how to go in and change
Yep.
that unit to a 60.
Yep.
So now, if you print my report, maybe I only have like 2 markets, even though I technically have 5.
Yeah.
So we may be able to, if somebody applied and they, but you also, you can't rent to, there's a whole, you can't actually rent to anyone above the 60% unless you've advertised the unit for 90 days and all these others. So
Right.
that's why I do have the, in the Pioneer, I have that ad. That,
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
Do you run
Yeah.
it constantly? Do you just?
yeah,
So that way you're always in compliance because you're always advertising.
So if I do,
60% or
yeah.
less. Got it.
I remember my ads, because you had to do 3 consecutive ads every year for RD. So mid-December, boom, 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 boom. Because I had to qualify.
Right.
Because I can get rolled up on it.
well, the Pioneer is giving me a great rate on that ad too, so.
Lori, one quick question. So when it doesn't say ready, buy it. That's because our maintenance has not been able to go in and prep the unit.
Correct,
So we got quite a lag on that.
correct,
But that's where Dennis gonna be able to come in. and
Right.
help.
correct, yes.
Our maintenance people are doing what instead of prepping units?
Well, they were getting ready for the inspection. They're doing now
I-
yard maintenance, which I said I'd rather have them do mechanical skills than mowing lawn and doing other
Prepping
things.
units.
Yeah, getting units prepped. We're in the business to rent apartments. That's what I always like to say.
The 12th Street homes, they did just finish those up too, because although we did hire a check construction to paint those, there was still some things that our staff had to do there too.
Yeah, in the out exterior, we had to clean a bunch of junk up.
And then the sewer line,
Yeah,
so we had to work with the contractors, but the sewer lines were broke, we found out.
but if you look at the vacancy dates, most of them haven't been vacant that long. So, like a year ago, you would have saw some of these that were vacant for 6 months or 8
Long
months
time.
or a long time. In fact, I don't think you saw that report. 6 months.
That report stopped coming.
Yeah,
Typically, they always had at least 20 open here.
Yeah.
You always heard about the waiting list. You never knew how many.
But
But
you know,
I'd
I
be
keep
more than happy-
promising you this vacancy unit report will look better, and I will get there, just like we finally got the AT&T straightened out, and we will get to the.
well, I'm buying lunch as soon as it happens, so I'm gonna be safe for a while. So
Well,
that,
and I'm glad we got a new person who.
Yeah,
can
that's
talk
it.
to
That's
the
important.
residents and interview.
And move quickly
Yeah.
on things.
Yeah, yeah, and then the public housing vacancy list, the top two you can take off. So really that puts that down to 3, and then 1204 Cypress, the flooring. I'm hoping to have the new flooring in there next week. And then that one will be ready to go too. So that'll be down to 2 if I don't receive any more.
Then when you do the new flooring, is it the vinyl planking like you used?
So it
to?
depends if that's a unit that, so like over on 10th Street, those units, we are possibly going to save and not demolish them when we do the rag
Mhm.
conversion. So it's like double the price to do the luxury vinyl plank.
Right.
So it depends on what shape the unit's in. So this particular one, it was double, even though I had her quote a cheaper luxury vinyl plank
Mhm.
too. But it was still almost double. So it's $2,900 to do all new carpet, pad, and vinyl in this unit. And it was like 5,000 to do the luxury vinyl plank. So I'm going with the vinyl and the carpet.
So Mick, we're doing the analysis that what can we get them to get them in a rentable condition and not put so much money in.
Well, especially not knowing
Yeah.
what the life expectancy
That's
is.
exactly right.
That's where I'm at.
Sure. I just,
They're 80 years old as they stand now. Hey, newsletter.
So the public, this was to the scattered sites. And that was just informing them of the upcoming inspection, which was canceled. And then the extermination notice. So if you recall, we did approve partial to do at a quarterly basis. It's $75 a unit every quarter. So they're doing the exterior treatment, which they completed last week. And then yesterday he went in every unit. And I'm happy to report that there was only one finding, but at least that pays for itself. Knowing right away that we do have one unit that did test for bed bugs. He will be back on Friday. So, I mean, he found it yesterday. He's coming tomorrow to treat. So, I mean, this company that we have on board is definitely the right company because they aren't telling us it's 2 weeks out. And then when they show up, oh, the tenant has too much stuff. I can't do it for 2 more weeks until they move all their stuff. So the extermination notice, and then the lawn maintenance. So currently, we do only have the Reese Park area that is receiving the lawn maintenance, but, it sounds like you guys do want me to contract the other units too. Okay,
I'll commit.
okay. Now, some residents are gonna say, I've always mowed it, and I just wanna keep mowing it. So I'll let them, I guess.
Yeah, as long as it stays within our schedule.
Yeah.
Maybe what I think might be long grass, and what they think.
Exactly.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's as long as they keep it in the base schedule.
We would probably just say we're doing it. So there's no
Right,
question.
and if they wanna do it in between times.
Yeah, they can do it in between, exactly.
Okay, and then, yeah, then we sent out the reschedule. It's rescheduled for July, the inspection's rescheduled for July 17th and 18th. And then I handed you the one that went out this morning, so we did not get the May newsletter out until this morning, but at least it's finally out.
Who does these letters?
I do, but I'm hoping that's something Lisa can, oh, Lisa started this one for me, and then I finished it last night.
I'll tell you what, it's impressive. Do a great job.
Thank you. And a resident actually, she lives in this building, Kathy. Every month she brings me a picture for the newsletter, and then she's been to the office 3 times this month saying, when's the newsletter going out?
Here.
Yeah, so, yeah, resident, Kathy is the one that created that. She's an artist.
A real quick question, do we also have a preventive maintenance program for the bugs?
Yeah.
Infestation?
Yeah.
Okay. So is that monthly, quarterly? What would you-
Weekly,
Weekly, okay.
that's the condition we were in, we had to do it weekly still.
Yeah, that, thank God, is one big, huge problem that's mostly behind.
Plus, we have the moats.
Yeah, so we weren't very good at being preventative before.
Well, and that was always one of my complaints with the previous management, is every time I would ask them, they said, well, we can't do it, we can't go into the apartment. Well, that's not true. I mean,
At least do what you can do,
of course. and,
at least
you know,
create something.
Yeah, exactly, and it doesn't take that long.
It was
Don't
bad
treat it in
company
one
too.
spot, so it goes to another spot. I mean,
Yeah, you have to treat.
Right, yeah, one unit, it was like 6 times they kept making me reschedule it, so can, so.
But it's a constant battle, so you
Sure.
gotta keep fighting.
And it's all over the
Yeah.
place. It's not just here. It is in the community. I hear about it in other
Yeah.
housing, rentals and stuff like that.
It's in airports, it's everywhere.
Well, it's everywhere, absolutely, and again, it's managing, again, I traveled a lot and, you have to treat your suitcase when you come back from a trip.
Yeah.
You wanna make sure your house isn't gonna get contaminated, cause, you're.
Yeah.
You put your suitcase on the carpet, right, in
Yeah.
your hotel room, well, guess what, if they're there, they're now there.
Yeah.
It used to be, you take your suitcase and it got cleaned on the way out and it was good when it got back. Okay, the resident council meeting minutes. I think we went over most of that, didn't we?
Yes, she did.
Public comments, we've done that. I thought we had a 1-page agenda. I didn't know it was 2. And announcements and upcoming meetings, our next regular scheduled mission meeting is Thursday, June 20th at 9 AM at Century Terrace.
Terrace, so it'll be at the other building.
Is there anything else?
And that will be the annual meeting.
Oh, before I forget, what are we doing with Baker Tilly?
I think they're waiting on us, Steve.
Okay.
So they're gathering information. I think Lori sent a bunch with Brian on Monday. So,
Okay.
yeah,
'Cause-
we've been holding them up. They haven't been holding us up. They've asked us for a whole laundry list of data
Okay,
we've been working on.
so with
Yeah, it was
that,
so
I'd
nice,
ask for a
Brian
motion
coming
to
here.
adjourn.
One thing, if I've been asked to ask you, when you leave, if you can, look in the kitchen in there and look at the sinks. You can't wash dishes in those sinks.
What?
Too small.
Yeah,
Oh, are they bar sinks?
yeah, they're not even, they're about like that.
With 2 huge stoves and 2 huge refrigerators in there, it's not that we don't have space. We should have taken one refrigerator and stove out of here and put it over in Century Terrace.
Saying too about stealing,
What?
No,
stealing
no.
from the refrigerator.
Oh, we did have a request to either put a door on there that could be locked or a camera up here.
In there. Cause
And
people are
so-
stealing food.
I've not had time to figure out the solution there yet.
At some
We
point
get
in
a lot of
time,
food. A lot.
people have to be responsible for their own actions.
It's a lot. And then
And
food potlucks
and if they don't
stuff.
care, they shouldn't be here. We can't, no matter how hard or how big or better you can try to make this mousetrap, you just can't stay ahead of some people. And
Some
if we
people
can,
are desperate, don't have food, so maybe if we had, again, there was an office where we would have people be able to connect up to Feeding America.
Do we have the food pantry that comes in? Because we do at a lot of our buildings.
Here, but there are several throughout.
So-
that
several
people go
sites.
to. People don't know how to get to them.
Yeah, I think we would be a good site.
Yes.
With Feeding America,
Yeah, right now it's at the Armory Youth Center, but it wouldn't be a problem. to-
That's right over here, right? Right on the.
Yeah.
yeah, and
But-
then there's one every month at the church
The Baptist church by the,
over here on the north
So I
side.
mean, we had a big
Yeah.
delivery yesterday and ever. Who's that?
This.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, those are all-
Oh, yeah.
There's one at the Friendship Center,
Chef,
there's one
Fine,
out
yeah,
at Bellevue,
Mercy.
there's one over at the Catholic Church.
I used to look the list.
Yeah,
well, Lisa is very now.
Yeah, so Lisa, we'll have her work
Yeah,
on
they're
that.
not put on by.
Are we adjourned, Steve?
Yeah.
Not put on.
To adjourn.
Okay.
At 11:17.
Seconds, all in favor,
Aye.
opposed, motion carried.
I've been, myself, and Timo, go out every night at 8 o'clock and box the fence to try to keep people from doing all of the. Last year, we had over 100 complaints.
Anytime you have to pay everything.
like that other one, but it's like.
Because I gotta do. I gotta make the sauce today.
So that's.